Curious about living on a floating home? Well, in today's video, we're gonna check out this super cute little red floating home here in Eastlake, just minutes from downtown Seattle on Lake Union. And in fact, this is the most affordable floating home to hit the market this year. Hey, I'm Matt Goyer, a Seattle area real estate agent. I've been living on the water myself for the last 10 years. So if you're curious about the floating home lifestyle, my contact info is below. Feel free to reach out. Happy to help. But let's go take a look at this cute little floating home just down the street. All right, so this floating home's on the Wandesforde Dock here in Eastlake. This dock's been here forever. It's kind of a classic Eastlake floating home dock. Kind of a hodgepodge of homes, some older, some newer. But it's really got that Seattle floating home vibe. All right, here we are at D, the little red floating home. Let's take a look. So it sits on a big float, 41 by 26. It's sitting in 20 feet of water. So this home's truly floating. Lots of water beneath it. But you can't really tell it's floating, at least not today. So this floating home is a little bit of a blast from the past. Gives you some insight into what a floating home 50 or 60 years ago likely looked at. This home hasn't been updated in a while, but you've got a nice little area here where you can have a kitchen table, dining room table, living room, put your TV on the wall where that art is. And then we've got a little kitchen here, big range, but a little bit older, but probably enough space here to do some cooking. Then there's actually a walk-in closet here. And we've got the bathroom. It's got a shower. And you have a really big bedroom with built-in. So lots of storage for a floating home. This small floating home has a ton of storage both inside and outside. We've seen everything in here. So let's go check out the deck and the water. So right off the front door, you got maybe a cute little seating area here. And then this home actually sits on a large float. It's 41 by 26 feet. So you got a nice long area of water here. It's 20 feet deep, tons of depth if you want to jump off or dive off into the water. It's December, so we're not going to do that today, but trust me, in the summer, the water's definitely warm enough to swim in. You got the swim ladder there. And you got lots of space here. You can store your paddle boards, kayak, whatever, have a grill. You could have some more seating. And then I really like standing or sitting here and just looking out at this view of Lake Union. You got a couple sailboats in between you and the lake, but a nice sliver of lake right there. That's our look at this cute little red floating home here in Eastlake in Seattle. If you're wondering how much it costs, well, we have it priced at $400,000. If you're wondering why it's so affordable, why it's the cheapest floating home to hit the market this year, well, it's because you're buying just this house. The slip is actually owned by somebody else, and you're renting the slip. If you were buying the floating home and the slip together, it would cost at least double, so it'd be much more expensive. This way, it's a great way to dip your toe into the floating home lifestyle and see if it's for you. If you have any questions about floating home life, well, hit us up in the comments below. Happy to answer any questions you have. I've lived on a floating home for 10 years now. To know the ins and outs of this lifestyle. If you want to go check out some floating homes because you're curious about buying one, my contact info is below. Happy to help you out. If you're curious of what a fancy floating home looks like, sort of the other end of the spectrum compared to this one, we've shot a couple of videos of fancy floating homes. You can check one of them out up here. Hit subscribe to get all our floating home videos that we're going to film in the future. If you made it this far, hit like. It would help us out a ton.